Realtree's Midwest Whitetail is brought to you by Cabela's, Easton Arrows, Frigid Forage, Fuse, Grizzly Coolers, Hoyt, Hoyman Tree Saws, Muddy Outdoors, and Realtree.
Well, it's Sunday, September 17th. It's the second day of the urban zone hunt. It's about 5:30 in the afternoon. I've been set up for about 30 minutes or so, and I'm not exactly where I wanted to be. When I went to the area I normally hunt, there was another hunter, so I just backed off a couple hundred yards and did a hanging hunt in this oak flat. Got a north wind. It switched out the north this morning. So with any luck, we'll have a doe or two come by. I did not get out this morning. We had thunderstorms and swirling winds. It was going kind of all over the place, so I elected to stay home and get some work done. It's nice this afternoon compared to yesterday. The high is about 70, and the air feels cool, so hopefully they'll be moving. There's a lot of activity in the neighborhood. Kind of got a neighborhood up to the east and one to the west. A couple hundred yards, you can hear a lot of people playing, which the deer are used to, but we'll see. I'm not used to this spot. This isn't exactly how I predict the deer to move, but I think with the acorns all over the ground, I might still get lucky. I'm just going to sit till dark and see if I can't have a doe come by. Usually the hunting slows down quite a bit after opening weekend, so I try to get out during the week some. And a lot of times I'm not fighting other hunters that way, so this is a public hunt, and there's at least 40 hunters that participate in the city, so there's not a ton of ground. So we kind of all run into each other quite a bit opening weekend, but it is what it is. It was about 6 o'clock, and I just saw my first two deer. And they're just kind of working their way across this oak ridge, feeding. And something spooked them. I'm not sure what. My wind is blowing down here into the bottom. And when they took off, they ran up to the back of the house where all the kids are playing. So, or I shouldn't say where the kids are playing, where there's a bunch of noise. So I wasn't expecting that. I would expect if they spooked, they'd come farther away from the homes, but who knows? They ran up there. I also heard a deer sneeze or cough down here in the bottom, so I'm hoping in the next few minutes that the movement really picks up and I can get one at bow range. We'll see. That's pretty exciting and unexpected. I mean, I never see bucks down in here early season. And I saw 2 young bucks walking over the hill there, and then this deer just walking down the ridge, and it looks like a mature buck. And he came to the base of the tree, looked right up at me. Couldn't figure out what it was, and then kept walking here, so he's down at 30 yards. I had I think about a 5-yard shot. A 10-yard shot. Looks like a wide buck with some cool character. I've never shot one this early in September in the urban zone, so it's kind of cool to be able to do that. I'll get down here in a minute and go check them out. Well, here he is. Nice urban buck. Mainframe 10 with a little extra point at the base of his right G2. Good browse. Pretty cool to shoot a buck this early. My plan this afternoon was really just to come in after some does on this oak flat. I've had great success here in the past early season on the oaks. I got down in here, went to my normal spot, and there was a guy in a tree and a climber. And so I started to go back to the house and decided, what the hell, I'll come back a couple hundred yards south of him on the oak flat, and I could hear some bucks sneezing, or some deer I should say, sneezing off in the distance. And lo and behold, as the sun went down, it was right before sunset, I saw two little bucks. And a lot of times this time of year they're still bachelored up, so I just kind of kept looking around to see if there was a more mature one in the group. And the two younger bucks were higher up on the ridge. I turned and looked over, and here come this guy right down the trail that led to the base of the tree. This was an impromptu hanging hunt. I mean, I just kind of picked an easy tree and was hoping that I'd get a doe out of it, so there wasn't a lot of scouting or preparation or stand site picking based on knowledge of deer movement, but pretty cool to have him come right to the base of the tree and give me an easy shot. Ran about 30 yards and fell over. So this changes the strategy a little bit for the rest of the year. I don't normally have a urban hunt buck down this early. Normally I primarily focus here the first 2 weeks, or the last 2 weeks of September, which is the first 2 weeks of the urban hunt, and then gun season. And now I won't have to worry about doing that. I'm going to still hunt the rest of this week and the next week and try to get my 3 does. This is earn a buck tag zone. The 5 does I shot last year earned me this buck tag starting on day 1. And this year they changed the rules, and I just have to shoot 3 for next year. So I'm going to try to get at least 3 does down. That way I have a buck tag for next year. But I'm really excited. It's fun to get a buck down this early on September 17th. I'm going to get them dressed out and get them up to the truck and go get them checked in. Well, we're down here at the farm for the weekend, getting some last minute preparations done for the start of the season in a week or so. I'm still riding cloud 9 after harvesting that mature buck in town on opening weekend, and I hope you guys enjoyed the hunt. Next, we're going to join Zach Rozmus with a creative segment on creating creek crossings.
So today is September 4th, and with less than a month until the season opens, we're trying to finish off some of these last minute projects. Where I'm standing right now is in a creek bed, and about 75 yards to my left is the stand that we call the Twig, which is actually the stand that I shot my buck out of last year. One of the issues that we were having during the season last year was that deer seemed to be picking up a lot of the ground scent. For years that I've hunted this stand, we came in through an area that we call the gate, and for whatever reason they picked up a lot of ground scent last year. So to kind of combat that, what we're doing this year is we're going to fall a dead tree across the creek and hopefully to create a small bridge, which will allow us to access this stand a little bit easier. Well, we're just finally finishing up this project, and as all hunting projects, it took a little bit longer than expected, but we finally got it done, and I couldn't be happier with the outcome. One of the things that we were kind of dealing with was the way the tree was sitting on the creek bed. We were kind of worried about it falling back towards us. We were trying to do our best of our ability to kind of wedge it and kind of put it in the right position. But the wind started picking up right at the wrong time, and it fell a little bit farther to the north than what we were expecting, but we used a little manpower and got it positioned, and it looks great. And I think it's really going to make this stand that kind of is back to our west a little bit more huntable, which is, all I could do this time of the year is try to make some of these stands that I think are going to produce this coming fall is a little bit more huntable. It's going to help with my access, and I hopefully, help with, not leaving as much scent on the ground when I'm accessing these stands. With only a few, weeks left upcoming to season, the stuff that we're going to be working on here in the next few weeks is finishing off our food plots. One plot to the north needs a little bit of work yet. I might need to reseed some of that some of the areas that's not coming up. but this time of the year now we might be looking at doing like an autumn quick plot or something along those lines through frigid forage. But then also, just kind of finalizing that hit list. We're going to be running these cameras, for the next few weeks and trying to keep an eye on them like a hawk. But the one buck that I'm really looking forward to hunting this upcoming year is a buck I call Teddy. I had a lot of pictures of him going into last year, but then never saw him during the fall, never saw him in person yet. He's definitely put on some mass, and he looks like a really good buck, and I'm really excited that, hopefully he'll be part of my story in the upcoming year.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that segment. It's been really hot here in Iowa the last week, and actually the last cool weather we had was Sunday night when I shot the buck. I've been out multiple times since then and haven't had any does in range. I actually have not taken a single doe in town yet this year. It looks like in the forecast we're going to have some cooler weather coming this week, so I'll be out after work, and hopefully that leads to a few does down in town before the start of the statewide season. Thanks for joining us this week, and we'll see you back here next week for the next episode of Midwest Whitetail. What would you like to tell everybody?
Always dream big.
Thank you, honey.
What is this for?
It's a microphone.